How do we know if our headline and our banner are being effective? It's really simple. We want to measure our ability to convert impressions to profile views to follows. And if you can do that, you're going to know whether or not you're doing a good job or not, or if you need to change something. Let's figure out your stats. All right, so the first thing that we're going to look at is post impressions. And I want you to write this down. I want you to go to your 14-day impressions. And the reason that we want to do that is because there is no view for 7-day impressions. So we're going to grab that number. It's 170,000 unique impressions, 170,744. That's the number that can be found right here. This number, 403,523, this just means that you showed up on the same person's feed multiple times. So if we do the math here, if we take 170,000, and I'll just grab my calculator here because I'm not that good at math. If we take the big number, 403,523, and we divide 170,744 into it, that means that these people got to see us 2.36 times. So that's how many times they've seen us on their feed over and over again. So I'm getting some repetition, some repeat customers, which is pretty solid data if you think about it. Now, what are we going to do with this 170,000 number? Well, what we're going to do now is go back to the profile. We're going to go into profile viewers. And remember I told you there was no view for 7 days. We're going to do 14 days. And you can repeat this exercise with 14, 28, 90, and full year to get your year stats to see if there's a trajectory that is showing some improvement. But what we're going to grab here is this number, 1,639. And what we're going to do is we're going to take this number and we're going to divide it into this one. And it's going to give us a tiny little fraction because we're trying to get a percentage of how many people that viewed, how many of those got curious enough to click on it and then visit our profile. So the math behind that is, let me just take that in, 1,639 divided by 170,744, and that gives us 0.009599, and we're going to multiply that by 100, and that will give us the percentage of people that clicked on our profile after they saw a post of ours on their feed, and that is 0.96%. Cool. So this number is very important. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to ask ChatGPT, and ChatGPT is really good for this because it gives us numbers and it understands math really well. It's going to give us like a rating on how good our conversion is by having that percentage. I can tell you right now that anything above 0.4% is good. And most people simply won't have that on LinkedIn because their profile isn't generating enough curiosity to drive a profile view. And from there, it's definitely not generating enough curiosity to drive a follower. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take a look, and we already know that there are 1,639 viewers. I want to see how many of those converted to become followers in 14 days, because that's going to tell us how effective our profile is at taking somebody who didn't know us into wanting to know us. So let's take a look at that. That'll give us another little interesting piece of stats here. So for that, we go to impression count, and then we're going to check out the audience growth up here. And again, we're going to follow 14 days. So these are the number of followers that my account has grown in the past 14 days. It's 689 in 14 days. So if we take the original number of 1639, remember those are the people that viewed our profile. If we take 689 and we divide that into 1639, that gives us 0.42, and we're going to multiply that by 100 to turn it into percentages, and that gives us 42.03% of people that click on my profile convert to follower. And in this game, like, you want to constantly produce content that brings you new followers that you can eventually indoctrinate through your marketing, through your messaging, through your lead magnets, through your videos, because time on content is what's going to convert the sale over the long term. Less than 3% of people are ready to buy. We've already talked about the types of buyers. Type 1 buyers are going to buy right away. They're the ones that are going to click on your profile. They're going to follow you. Then they're going to go to your featured page, and then they're going to buy your shit. But that's a very small percentage of the population. Most of the population needs to get to know you a little bit. And they're only going to get to know you if they start following you. So, again, this is a big number. This 42% follow rate is quite high. I strongly encourage you to check your stats, see where you're at. If you're at 1% conversion of impressions to profile views, you're at elite level and you don't need a lot of help. You don't need to change your profile in that sense. So just move on to the next thing. If you're anywhere below that, work on it, because it's something that you can improve over time, and it's something that you can test in 14-day periods. You'll be able to either see it increasing or getting worse. And I've taken a few stabs at it. When I first started out, my stats were 0.002%. And over time, I've converted it, and now they're 0.96%. So that's a tremendous improvement. And it has everything to do with the profile optimization process that I've shown you before, where you want to front load what you do first, so people know instantaneously what you do based on your headline, and they kind of see what you do on every comment that you make on the internet. It drives a curiosity-driven click to your profile. Then your profile starts the conversion process by giving them the pain point that they have. They're going to scroll down, they're going to follow you, then they're going to read your about page. This is going to either, I guess, make or break you as well. If you don't have an interesting about page or a compelling story behind it, or it's too long, you're not going to convert that arc. And we need you to convert it so that you get the followers and you build long-term pipeline in your offer. Because if you don't have a long-term pipeline, if you exhaust all of your ready buyers, the moment you launch your offer or the moment that they've bought, you won't have anyone new. So this is what's going to create that funnel of new clients. Like if you think of it again as a funnel, you need to get more people coming in. You're going to use your top of funnel content, which is the stuff that's going to attract viewers. And as they age in this, they're going to start seeing your bottom of funnel content, which is invitations, lead magnets, and direct response marketing. This is where you speak directly to them and make them an offer. And that's going to turn into money, guys. That is where the money comes. But unless you have this machine going, it's never going to happen. So keep that in mind and go execute.